Good morning, students. How are you all? I hope you all are fine. As in our previous online class, we had started with the Sangam age, and in that, you have learned about the cultural and economic context between the northern and the southern India, in which you have learned about the important things like the Sanskrit become the main popular language, the Aryans have settled down from the north and the south, and they have brought their civilization to the southern India. Then so many Brahmins these have preached. They had preached about the Aryan culture in the south, and the Andhra kingdom was ruled by the Brahmins, and after that it was conquered by the Mauryans. Buddhists and Jain missionaries came to the southern India, and they have brought their own religion and the rivers related to the Ganga and the Son. So you have learned about this. Then sources to reconstruct the Sangam age. In that you have learned about the literary sources, the Sangam literature, in which the Sangam means assembly. According to early tradition, 3 Sangams or assemblies of literary men were held at Madurai. Then Tirukural, it is a book which is filled with the Sangam literature. The other books or the epics, Silapadikaram and the Mani Mekhalai. So today we will start with the archaeological sources. The archaeological sources, in that the megaliths were the most important thing in the archaeological sources, in which the word megalith means the large stones. Okay, what is the meaning of the word megalith? It means a large stone. The megalith word was divided into 2 parts, the mega and the liths. Okay, the megaliths are found in all upland areas of the peninsula. Where they are found? They are found in the upland areas, means the high areas of the peninsula. Their concentration, however, seemed to be in eastern Andhra and Tamil Nadu. Okay, and where they were mostly found? They were mostly found in the eastern Andhra and the Tamil Nadu. The megalithic culture can be traced from 1000 BC. And from which BC it was traced? From the 1000 BC to the early centuries of the Christian era. Acha, megalithic word was started from the period of the megalithic time, right? It was the time when the copper age was transferred to the iron age. So from that time period, this megalithic tombs were found. The megalithic culture is mostly known for its burial. And why this culture was famous? This culture was famous for its burial. The upland portion of the peninsula were inhabited by people whose graves are called megaliths. Okay, so the upland portion of the peninsula were inhabited. They were under the control of the upland area of the peninsula was under the control of the inhabited people of those place, and whose graves are called megaliths. Okay, because their graves were there, so it was related to that people, that old people. So it was known as the megaliths because they were encircled by big pieces of stone. Why they were known as the megaliths? Because it was covered, the graves were covered with the big pieces of stones. Now, do you know what things were there inside the megalithic tombs? Yes, the megalithic contains not only the skeletons of the people who were buried. So there were not only the skeletons, but there was iron tools, arrows, pottery, and fragments of rice and other grains have been found inside the tombs and beside the skeletons found or buried in the grave. Few other things like the arrowheads, spearheads, and sickles, all made of iron. So these weapons, these were the weapons, okay, which were used by the people of that time. So all these weapons were made up of iron. Do show the transition from copper and bronze age culture to the iron age culture. Okay, this I have already told you that this is related to the time from the copper age to the bronze age, when the shifting of the copper age to the iron age, okay, or copper age or age or the bronze age culture was shifted to the iron age culture. So this is that time. This period was related to that time. The pottery and the agricultural tools, spearheads, sickles, etc., give us an idea of the culture and sources of livelihood of the megalithic people. So these things, the pottery, okay, agricultural tools, or what type of agriculture they used to do, what type of pottery they used to do, which type of utensils they used to wear, they use in the kitchen or they use for their daily life. So these are the main sources which gives us the information about the megalithic people. Now we will see the second part. It is the inscriptions. It is also the source of information. So inscriptions, the art of writing was known to the Tamils before the beginning of the Christian era. Okay, it was known to the Tamils before the Christian era. Nearly 80 inscriptions in the Brahmi script have been found. So which script was revealed? The Brahmi script was revealed. And how many inscriptions were found? Near about 80 inscriptions were found in many caves in the Madurai region. These inscriptions belonged to the period probably 2nd century BC, okay, and these inscriptions belong to which period? It belongs to the 2nd century BC, when the Buddhist and the Jain preachers visited this region. And during this time, during the 2nd century BC, the Buddhist and the Jain preachers visited this region. This region, which region? Madurai region. They provide an example of the earliest kind of Tamil, an amazing mixture of two languages, Tamil and Prakrit. Okay, and which language they provide us? Which knowledge? Which thing they provide us, or which knowledge about the language they provide us? It was related to the Tamil, and Tamil was the mixture of two languages, Tamil and Prakrit. The inscriptions of Kharavela, the ruler of Kalinga, says he destroyed a confederacy of Tamil states, and Kharavela was the ruler of Kalinga, and he describes that he destroys the confederacy of the Tamil states. Means other rulers who wanted to rule in Tamil, he has defeated them. So these are the inscriptions which were found, and these inscriptions give us the information about the southern India. Now we will see the three dynasties which were ruling on the southern India. So the three kingdoms. The first kingdom was the Chera. The second was the Cholas, and the third was the Pandyas. So southern India, for example, India south of the river Krishna was in those earliest times divided into three major kingdoms. Okay, it was divided into three major kingdoms: the Cheras, the Cholas, and the Pandyas. Other minor chieftains owed allegiance by be one or the other of these monarchs. Okay, and other chieftains means other group of people, other chiefs of small societies or small kingdoms. They also hold the position of their kingdom, or one or two places. Okay, one or two places were under the control of these chieftains. Generally speaking, the history of the South India was the history of supremacy or duration of these three powers. Okay, so generally if we will talk about the South India, we see that it is the duration of supremacy. The one who is the superior, or the one who is more powerful, is conquering on the other. Okay, who is more powerful is conquering on the other. So now the Chehra kingdoms. The Chehra or the Kerala kingdom was one of the earliest kingdoms of the south. So it is one of the earliest kingdoms of the south. It extended along the western coast. Okay, from which place it is extended? From the western coast. The rock edicts of Ashoka refers to the land of Cheras as Kerala Putras. Okay, so it was also refers to the land of Kerala Putras. It was also known as the name of the Kerala Putras. And in which it was written? It was written in the rock edicts of Ashoka. The Sangam literature in Tamil gives names of many ancient rulers. Okay, Sangam literature in Tamil gives names of many ancient rulers such as the Udenjiral, who flourished during the 2nd century. In which century the Udenjiral succeeded or flourished? In 2nd century. Or it can become in this manner also, that in which century Udyanjirals flourished in the south? So you can write 2nd century. Then Nidunjiral and Senguttavam. So these three were the main rulers of the southern India. Then the Cheras were defeated by the Pallavas in the 4th century BC. So who defeated the Cheras? The Pallavas defeated the Cheras in the 4th century BC. In the 10th century, the control over the other Kerala dominions passed to the Cholas. So after that, in the 10th century, the Chera dominions was passed into the Cholas. Now, next kingdom we will learn about the Pandyas, the dynasty, Pandya dynasty. Okay, so the Pandyas are also known from very early times and are associated with the southernmost portion of the Indian peninsula. The Pandya king Nedunjelian was the most prominent among the early Pandya rulers. Okay, he was the most prominent. Who was the most prominent ruler of the Pandya rulers? Nedunjelian. Nedunjelian. He ruled in the early years of the 3rd century AD, about 210 AD. Okay, this is the time, this is the year 210 AD. He defeated a confederacy of rulers which included the Cheras and the Cholas. Okay, so this type of question can come, that who defeated the confederacy of the rulers? So you can write the name of the prominent ruler of the Pandyas, Nedunjelian, and which confederacy was defeated by Nedunjelian. So you will write the Cheras and the Cholas confederacy. So this is about the Pandya kingdom. Now we will learn about the Chola kingdoms. The Cholas, like the Cheras and Pandyas, are known from very early times. They were based in the Kaveri Delta and sprang along the Coromandel coast. Okay, so their extent of the kingdom was from the Kaveri Delta and till the Coromandel coast. Now Karikala was the greatest ruler. Okay, it's from the Chola dynasty. Who was the greatest ruler? Karikala was the greatest ruler among their earliest historical kings. The Chola kingdom gained greatly both in territory and influence under him. So Chola kingdoms had the extension area also, more extended area, and they have more influence in comparison of the other kings. About the 3rd or the 4th century. So now which century? We are talking about the 3rd and the 4th century AD. The Cholas suffered severe reverses at the hands of the Pallavas. So they were defeated by the hands of the Pallavas, Pandyas and the Cheras. For the next few centuries, they were not forced to be reckoned with. So for the next few centuries, they were not able to come back. They were not able to control their kingdom again and to defeat these three confederacy rulers like Pallavas, Pandyas and Cheras. So the Cholas were defeated from these three rulers, Pallavas, Pandyas and Cheras, in the 4th and the 3rd century AD. Right? So these were the resources through which we'll get the information about the southern kingdoms. Now, very important thing, listen the video carefully and complete your all assignments, write it in your history registers and be ready for the virtual classes. Virtual classes, I hope that you are getting the timetable and you will also get the virtual class for history. So be ready. Please listen the earlier videos properly and we will discuss the assignments in the virtual classes. Okay, so please if you have any queries, if you have any doubts related to the questions, you can ask during the time of the virtual classes. Okay, be ready with your registers and with your books during the time of virtual classes. Thank you. Have a great day.